Just 4 years after America had fought for freedom from British rule, the country's government threatened to collapse. Congress, though it had the power to regulate currency, carry out foreign affairs, and conduct wars, didn't hold enough influence over the states to actually enforce any request for financial support or other supplies. The country relied on the Articles of Confederation, which was written by revolutionists who feared a government with too much power and were deeply loyal to the states in which they lived. After only a few years, tempers began to rise between the states themselves, and it became obvious that the Articles of Confederation needed to be adjusted before the country crumbled. In May of 1787, 55 delegates from every state but Rhode Island convened in Philadelphia to debate over a form of government and draft a constitution. After 3 months of debate, a draft of the Constitution was nearly complete, and a committee of style, consisting of James Madison, William Samuel Johnson, Rufus King, and Alexander Hamilton, drafted the final document. On September 17, 1787, only 39 of the 55 delegates signed the document. Many delegates had left the convention beforehand, and 3 delegates refused to sign. 39 signatures was not enough. In order to become law, the document needed to be ratified by 9 of the 13 colonies. 2 of the Constitution's authors, Alexander Hamilton and James Madison, supported its ratification, and with the assistance of John Jay, penned a series of essays intended to convince the people the Constitution was necessary. These essays, entitled The Federalists, or the Federalist Papers, argued against the objections of doubts of those who opposed the new Constitution. They argued the proposed form of government would keep the Union intact and united in the common interest of the nation. Among the numerous advantages promised by a well-constructed Union, none deserves to be more accurately developed than its tendency to break and control the violence of faction, wrote Madison. Many citizens held strong loyalties to their states and were reluctant to give up any of the state's powers or freedoms. The Articles of Confederation had caused conflicts to arise between states, and the Federalists defended the idea that the states could be united as a nation while retaining certain abilities. Many early Americans feared a government with concentrated central power, like the monarchy they had so recently freed themselves of. And many of the people believed that the states should be allowed to decide many of their own laws and rights. Federalists argued in favor of the 3 proposed branches of government, as well as their systems of checks and balances. The essays argued that the restrictions and powers would encourage states' rights, individual rights, and liberties. In order to lay a due foundation for that separate and distinct exercise of the different powers of government, it is evident that each department should have a will of its own, and consequently be so constituted that the members of each should have as little agency as possible in the appointment of the members of the others. There were 85 total essays published. John Jay wrote 5, James Madison wrote 29, and Alexander Hamilton wrote the remaining 51. The works were published individually in newspapers such as the Independent Journal and the New York Packet, all under the pseudonym Publius. They would be written and published over the span of 6 months, starting in 1787 and ending in 1788. At the time, the essays aided the fight to ratify the Constitution and, once published collectively in 1788 under the name The Federalists, would be used as a means of defending the United States Constitution for centuries to come. These influential papers would leave a lasting impact on America. The Constitution which they defended would be arguably the most influential collaboration between men in American history. The compromise between states and government powers would pave the road for the nation we have today. The creative association of these men would defend this vital document's ratification through the extensive scrutiny of those who opposed it. The Federalists defended the Constitution, an accord spurred on by the rapid deterioration of the United States government, and withstood the resistance of others. The Federalists were critical to the making of America's current state, as they supported the Constitution through the blows it served prior to its ratification and long after when others would question it. The Federalists effectively defended a great compromise through opposition and doubt, protecting a crucial stepping stone in the making of modern America.